Hi folks, welcome back to the official Catchup, now sponsored by our friends at the Soccer Shop Direct, so we'll give them a quick shout out at the very start. I am Derek, and I am joined today by Sean. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks. Just enjoying the good Scottish weather, same as the rest of Scotland, I suppose. What about yourself? So you were away at the weekend?
Aye, so it was a bit of a blessing in disguise that the game at Forth Bank was rained off on the Friday rather than a Saturday. So I made the most of it by doing absolutely nothing but staying indoors. So I think that was a sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
Sounds like you might have picked up the cold for when you were out at the weekend.
Aye, a wee bit, aye, absolutely. I went obviously along to Ainsley Park. It was only a bit last minute, to be honest, with the way the weather was, and just the fact that it was a trip over the bridge. I wasn't planning on it. I got my arm twisted a little bit. Somebody was paying me in at the end of the day, and it was a game of football, so I ended up there. But horrendous conditions. I was sitting back row of the stand to try and stay as much as I could. I
mean, it could be worse. You could have been a Livy fan going to Ibrox and getting told at the last minute there was no game. But
yeah, well, there was a couple of boys, that had gone to Ibrox. They'd came up for somewhere down south. A couple of Rangers fans gone all the way up to Ibrox. Got to Ibrox, the game had been cancelled. So they came through for the second half of the Kelty Spartans game to try and get an autograph off of Barry Ferguson on his way out the door at the end. So I wished them good luck, but tell them I wasn't hanging about to see if we got their signature.
At least they got to see some proper football then.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, just before we get started, I mentioned at the very start, we are now a sponsored podcast. So we need to say a big thank you to the Soccer Shop Direct for getting involved and supporting us. And it sounds like they're going to be supporting other Scottish football things to come as well. So we'll obviously drop their links and so on when we do a roundup at the very end. But a massive thank you to the guys there. The shop's based in Rosyth. And if you're looking to kit out your team or just any general football supplies, they're your boys, basically, to go to. But so we don't have a full slate of games from the weekend. Only 4 of them managed to survive. I believe is it Storm Dennis at this point? We moved on for Chiara.
Yeah, but, it is.
We've got some to talk about, thankfully. And unlike a Gordon Parks column, it is fully researched and fully verified. So we'll start off. I'll let you take the lead, given that you're at Ainsley Park, Sean, for Spartans against Kelty Hearts.
It was Spartans welcoming Kelty along to Ainsley Park. Spartans were on a decent run of form leading into this game, and obviously Kelty looking to keep the pressure up there at the top of the league. So definitely had all the makings of a really good match, but the weather definitely played its part in this one. So yeah, not the best of conditions due to Storm Dennis, but we got well underway in a wet and windy Ainsley Park. Kelty were on the attack early, but Bolo makes a good challenge. Hubby sets up Phillip for a chance in the 15th minute, but the Spartans defenders were able to deny him. 27th minute, it was Spartans that had the ball in the net, but it was brought back for a Kelty free kick. It was the Spartans' finish to pull it back for an early Woods transgression. It was quite soft, but whistle went beforehand, and I think Ben McKenzie had sort of stopped playing at this point. Kelty were definitely the better side in the first half, despite Spartans having the wind behind them. The second half was a bit different. Spartans definitely seemed to put a lot more pressure on Kelty, despite the fact that they were playing against the wind, and at points they definitely looked like the better side and the side that may have taken the lead. The 87th minute, that there was a short pass back to Dylan Easton, who was able to fire it into the back of the net, the wind behind him as well, adding to what's usually a really powerful shot from the Kelty midfielder. And from the Edinburgh Football Podcast guys that were in attendance as well, they've put that it finished at Ainsley Park, Spartans 0, Kelty 1. Tough one for the Spartans to take, as they defended resolutely throughout, with Adam Corbett and Mikey Allen excellent at the back. Kelty did have the majority of the ball and took their chances when it came along, though, which I think was fair. Perhaps being a wee bit harsh on Spartans, because they definitely looked like the more threatening side towards the end of the second half. But yeah, overall, Kelty did what they needed to do. I'm sure I saw somebody put out there that they were stealing a trick out of Bonnie Riggs sort of way, doing things with pinching the goal right at the end of the game there. But yeah, final score was Kelty Hearts 1, Spartans 0.
Yeah, I was going to say it was looking very much like it was going to be a goalless draw in the end. So a kind of collective sigh for BSC and Bonnyrigg fans as the tweet came out. And I think in their excitement they said it was Matty Flynn initially, didn't they? Had scored it, but you'll notice a common theme, folks, with the games we're going to cover here. The wind just played havoc with each and every game, didn't it? So, was it still kind of a decent watch as a contest, or was it one of those that just got a bit kind of messy in the end?
Nah, to be honest, it was quite frustrating, just because I think when the wind plays that much and has that much of an impact in the game, it takes away. But Carswell, I mean, one of the highlights was in the second half, some of his goal kicks. Just the fact that they were able to get up to the other end of the park was, when that's kind of stealing the show a little bit, yeah, that, kind of takes away a little bit from the football. I went along obviously with my uncle, who goes along to a lot of the games. He managed to get a header in as well, which got a lot of cheers for the supporters and a lot of shouts for him to be signed. So he went home quite chuffed as well. He's still waiting on the call for Barry, but he was quite chuffed with himself as well. But yeah, it takes away from the game a little bit when the weather kind of slows it down that much. I think it was a bit frustrating.
Spartans will obviously be disappointed because they were very close to being one of the few teams to take something off of Kelty there this season.
I think Spartans have they've started to find their form a little bit, because they definitely didn't have the best start to the season. They've been in the Lowland League since its inception. They've always done really well. They've won it a couple of times, and when they haven't won it, they've usually been right up there, second or third place. So this season's definitely been frustrating for them. But their last run of games and that game against Kelty, despite the weather, they played really well. And I think the team should be incredibly proud of what they've done so far, and should try and carry that momentum forward, because the league's getting tougher. Their heads could quite easily have gone down. They're a side that's used to playing with a lead and playing with a bit of a position quite high up in the table, and they kind of, they've started off a season very differently. Could have been a case of their heads going down, but they haven't done that, and they're picking up a bit of form, and they're pushing up the table as we near the end of the season, which is great to see.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll move on to next game. Was the kind of goal fest of this weekend. East Stirlingshire playing at home to Gallifrey Rovers, and it didn't really seem it was going to be that way. But early doors, Shire were in the front foot straight off, wind at their backs at this point. Sean Brown had a shot tipped over just in the second minute, and 2 minutes after that they opened the scoring very early. Nicky Lowe with another free kick 25 yards out, and it left the keeper rooted to the spot. He's got a wee bit of a kind of reputation now, Nicky, for being a set piece guy, and there you go, there's another one to add to his collection. 10 minutes into the game, Dishington almost made it 2, stinging the keeper's palms with a drive from just outside the box. It began to settle down after that, Gala kind of getting into the game. There was a let off for Shire, 20 minutes on the clock, as a short pass back to Barclay basically ended up in the reach of a Gala striker. Couldn't finish it though, unfortunately for them. There was a big shout for a penalty the other end straight after that, when Brown was brought down in the box from behind, but the referee didn't see enough to give it and waved play on. So it kind of seemed one-way traffic up until the half-hour mark. Gala got their equaliser with a well-taken goal by Murray, and that's how it went in at half-time. Shire maybe a little bit disappointed that they've not converted their superiority into a lead at that stage. But straight out the blocks again, the second half, 1 minute in to the second half of play, and it's that man again, Nicky Lowe, second of the match. Despite the fact they were now playing into a gale force wind, and the Twitter made quite a point of that as the half wore on. They got themselves in front and continued in the front foot. 55 minutes on the clock, Bob McCafferty saw a good shot going just over the bar, but they again were made to rue their chances getting missed, and Gala equalised through Berry with 20 minutes left in the clock. With the wind at their backs, they probably fancied their chances at that stage, Gallifrey, but Sean Brown made it 3-2 with a well-worked goal as we approached the last 10 minutes. It was only 6 yards out and he doesn't miss those. It was 4-2 straight after that, Sean Brown getting a second within a minute. Roger sliding in and finishing well, again from inside the box. It's what he does best. And Jamie Dishington gave the scoreline a bit of unfair sheen on it, I think, in terms of the way Gala had taken on the challenge. 5-2 in the end. But it was a great second half performance by Shire, clearly having to play into a strong wind like that and managing to do the business. So they'll be delighted. Gala will be disappointed, I'm sure, because 20 minutes to go, pulling it back to 2-2. With that kind of wind behind you, you'd probably fancy your chances of sneaking the 3 points in the end. But it's one of these things that ultimately Sean Brown's been the difference. He's got the ball in the box twice and he's put it in the net twice. And given that Shire had missed other chances, it just shows you how valuable a player he is to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really good to see Sean doing well at the club as well, because we've obviously been covering the Lowland League now for a couple of years, and we all kind of saw how good he did at Cumbernauld Colts. Shire went and they picked up a whole load of players in the pre-season, and it would have been quite easy for somebody with just low-level experience to maybe have been forgotten about, but he's made sure that's not happened, and yeah, he's been knocking them in, and he's definitely been a solid part of that team. Yeah, a 5-2 as well. It definitely seems like Gala have gone in and put up a decent fight, and they've played really well throughout. But I think it's what Shire have done well this season is they can score goals, and they're deadly from set pieces. Because I mean, if you were to look at that game, and I don't know how much into stats we can get, but I'm sure chances wise they're probably not too far off of each other. But Shire are able to finish, they're able to get the goals. I had a look after this fixture came out, and Shire, they're right up there with the likes of Kelty, Bonnyrigg, BSC. Granted, they've played a few games more, but they're right up there. But they're the side with they've got the second most goals in the league. They've got 76, I think, and that's 3 more than the bottom 4 teams combined. Which is quite an astonishing fact when you look at it like that. They're able to score goals, and that's been the difference for them. Perhaps it's been something that's let some of the other teams down a little bit. You look at the likes, say, we'll get onto them a bit later on, but the likes of East Kilbride and what have you, where they're a very good football team, play really good football, but they haven't been able to get that final product. That's been the difference for Shire this season. They've been able to knock those goals in, so I can believe it was a close game. But it doesn't surprise me at the same time that Shire were able to put 5 balls in the back of the net.
Definitely. And I think we'd kind of alluded to this earlier on in the season, that it seemed to be taking a wee bit of time for them to gel, given they'd made so many different signings over the summer. It was essentially a brand new squad they had when they got their wee cash injection. But it's now bearing fruit. Like we'd mentioned that they'd probably need a bit of time to gel and find their best 11, and I think we've got to that stage now where they know what their strength is, and they know exactly what the management team want from them for Dale and Andy, and it seems to be working for them really well. So the league's out of their grasp at this stage, but it's great momentum for them if they can keep the same core players there and keep this going to the end of the season, hit the ground running next year. Who knows, they might well get their heads in the promotion chase next time round. They've just been made to regret a bit of a slow start.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shire are a team that they don't want to. They've not got any long term plans for the Lowland League. They're wanting to get back up into SPFL too. So I imagine that this isn't a 1 season thing, that they'll be going for it next season. And you're correct. I mean, you see how good or how much of an impact momentum has. You can see it with Bonnyrigg Rose. They've kept their core player squads when they came up, and that's been an integral part of why they've been so successful this season. And East Stirlingshire could have an element of that next season. Me and Chris are obviously quite fortunate that we're hopefully going to make a wee trip along to Falkirk Stadium over the next week, and we've got Jamie Dishington and Nicky Lowe down to hopefully speak to. Those guys are combining for near on 30 of those 76 goals, so it'll be interesting to get their thoughts on why Shire have been been able to find the net quite handedly this season. So that's one for our listeners, obviously, to look out for in the next week or so.
There's a tease. But just to kind of round it off, Gala, I think they've been what we expected them to be from, say, kind of a third in. Like, we were a bit worried for them at the very start in the way their summer had gone, but they prove us kind of wrong to be doubting them ultimately, because they've been really solid. They're getting results in the games they need them to get. They need to get them, I should say. They've not really pulled off the big result this year against a side that you wouldn't expect them to, but I think generally they'll be pretty happy with how their campaign's going, will they?
Yeah, I think they've surpassed my expectations. That's for sure. They looked like a team that was in total disarray at the start of the season, but they've made a, yeah, you're right. They've not like made any headlines with any big fixtures, no massive upsets or anything like that. But they're going out there and they're playing well week in, week out, and they're winning the games that they're supposed to win. As a whole, I don't think they're going to be sitting happy that they're 11th in the Lowland League. If we were to go back and have a look at some of their previous finishes, I'm pretty sure they're one of the teams that have steadily got better year in, year out. But at the end of the day, the league has got a lot stronger over the last couple of seasons, both with teams going up and teams dropping down. And likewise, Gala did have a very difficult sort of pre-season, so they've definitely exceeded my expectations. If you were to go back and listen to some of the podcasts that we did pre-season and early on in the season, I wouldn't be surprised if we'd maybe touted them to be in a sort of relegation battle, but they're well clear of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did, until maybe 6-7 games in we realised no, they're actually alright, I think. They were definitely mentioned in that breath, certainly. But do you want to take us through Bonnyrigg at home to Edinburgh Uni?
Edinburgh University were the visitors at New Dundas Park on Saturday. As Bonnyrigg look to continue to sort of put the pressure on Kelty who sit currently at the top of the league, only by, to be honest, goal difference in the amount of games that they've played. So quite early on it was Waters with a great chance to put Uni ahead, but he wasn't able to keep his effort down, and Rose were able to go back up the pitch, and Hunter's strike was turned away by Barnes in the Uni goal to keep it 0-0 quite early on. 16 minutes in, there was a ball into the box by Hunter for McGawkey's head, who appeared to have got a nudge. Packed Shed not happy. I was wondering why there was a shed in this game there, but yeah, I know exactly what they're talking about. I've been in New Dundas Park in bad weather. But yeah, the Packed Shed not happy with that decision, but the referee was not interested in the slightest. 27 minutes in, and it was a Moyes header from Curry's corner that was cleared off the line by a Uni defender. Rose players think the ball was over the line, but again, referee not really on Bonnyrigg's side early on in this one, and the score remained at 0-0. Just before half time, on the 43rd minute, the deadlock was finally broken by Brown to give Rose the 1-0 lead heading into half time. A result that Edinburgh Uni probably would have been, quite happy with their performance heading into half time. Weather potentially playing its part as well. In the second half, however, Bonnyrigg Rose went up a couple of gears, I suppose you could say, and 10 minutes into the second half, and it was Curry's resulting corner coming off a Uni defender and looping into the goal to give Rose a 2-0 lead. 5 minutes later, on the 59th minute, and it was another goal for Bonnyrigg. Brown's effort this time beating the keeper but not the post. McGawkey is there to score the rebound to give Rose a 3-0 lead. Things didn't get better for the Uni side, as 3 minutes later, on the 62nd minute, Uni went down to 10 men for a challenge on Martinook. The ref appeared to upgrade the decision from a yellow. Last time I checked, we didn't have VAR in the Lowland League, so I'm not sure where that's come from. But
maybe the shed helped him.
Potentially, yeah. No, maybe his linesman had something to say that maybe made him upgrade that for a yellow. And then 5 minutes from time, there was a penalty, and it was Ross Gray who was fouled in the box, and Curry, who dinks the ball into the net with the keeper already committed, to give Bonnyrigg Rose the 4-0 win, and they keep the pressure on Kelty and add some goals to their goal difference as well. So yeah, Bonnyrigg having a hard time in that first half, only going up 1-0 is probably a result that they would have been a little bit frustrated with, having been at one of the games through Edinburgh sort of way. I've had grief before off of Bonnyrigg fans for saying that Bonnyrigg is in Edinburgh when it is in fact not, but it's close. I know what the weather was like, so that possibly did play a part and perhaps had a hand in the 3 goals in the second half. If they had the wind behind them, it possibly helped them a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's Uni continue to struggle at the bottom of the league, and Bonnyrigg getting all 3 points at the top. What did you make of the game?
It was interesting to see the way it played out, that Uni absolutely had their chances early doors to take the lead and to equalise as well, but Rose have managed to do the business ultimately after a slow start. I believe they played into the wind the first half, which might not have helped as well for the counter-attacks for the Uni. If you've got the wind behind you and you're playing direct long balls, it's probably going to help your man getting behind. But it's an impressive enough result on paper. It just didn't really play out the way I expected it to. I thought they'd be pretty comfortable, but it sounds like if Waters had had his shooting boots on, Uni could easily had 2 or 3 goals as well. I did appreciate the Bonnyrigg Twitter account after the game though. The quote was New Dundas Park, resembling a scene out of Platoon at the moment, which I thought was a nice mental image. It's they've done what they needed to do. They've made a habit out of doing that this year, and that's why they're in the position they're in. They've got a hellier run of games coming up, so fingers crossed for not just Bonnyrigg but all the teams that have got games in hand, that the weather plays a bit fairer to us, a bit kinder. Otherwise we're going to get to the stage of potentially 2 games a week all the way through to the end of the season, so that would be obviously really tough for them to do that and keep their challenge up in the same way. But why not? Why can't they do it? They're where they are in merit. As you say, if they get their points for their games in hand, it's essentially going to be a goal difference between them and Kelty, and they've still got to play each other. So it's going to be a hellier running, and the outside chance of BSC possibly getting involved as well. Again with the same caveats applying. So I'm a wee bit scared for Edinburgh Uni though. At this point, I think they might be in a wee bit of bother. Them and Vale of Leithen would be the 2 that I'd be concerned about. They need to find points and they need to find them fast, because they're not really a team that scores many goals either. And given that they've had chances that game, they've not taken them. That's not going to do anything for their confidence as well.
No, I think you're quite right. Both ends of the table this year are doesn't get much more interesting, to be honest. More exciting than what we've got this season. I was having like I say, like we always do, I was having a nosy beforehand, and it's a big if, but if Vale were to win their game in hand that they've got over Gretna, Dalbeattie and Edinburgh Uni, there'd only be 1 point separating the bottom 4, which is incredible. And I'd agree, it's a bit concerning for Edinburgh Uni, because they have struggled to get the goals, which is ultimately what you need to win your games. But sometimes you hear 6-pointer thrown about a bit willy-nilly, but they really are huge games between these 4 sides as we close in on the end of the season. But I'd agree, a bit worried for Uni, but no more so than any of the other teams, because if Uni can find a rhythm in one of these games against a Dalbeattie, Gretna or Vale, even just one of them, it could be enough to make them safe essentially, because those games are just going to be that important for them.
It's all bubbling up nicely as we kind of get into the final stretch, isn't it? So
yeah, and on the other end of the table, like you say, about Bonnyrigg, and they're keeping that pressure on, but they've got this run of games coming up. We're going to talk about the upcoming games, but Kelty aren't playing in the upcoming weekend fixtures, so Bonnyrigg are going to get one of those games in hand back. And you talk about the fixtures getting congested up, but at the same time you don't want to be a team who's got 2 weeks without a game in the league, because there's always potentially some games getting postponed later on. So Kelty have got a break next weekend, and Bonnyrigg, they're not playing an extra game to get that game in hand, if that makes sense. It's just a regular Saturday game for those guys. So and to be honest, I think that's I'm quite happy to see that, because I wouldn't like to see the league get decided by a congestion of games, to be honest. I'd like to see the best team win at the end of the day. So yeah, the league is going to look at, well, I say is going to look, that's probably a bit unfair to, I think, Cali Braves, but potentially the league's going to look even, more exciting after next weekend when Bonnie play one of their games in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So that brings us on to the most exciting game of the slate. Apologies in advance if I sound like I'm disrespecting East Cumbernauld and Berwick, but it's not the intention. I'm just purely going off. I saw there was one guy on Twitter basically said the game he was going to go to was called off, so he thought, where am I going to head? Cumbernaulds in the nearest place that's got a decent game on, let's head there. And he said we'll pick the only game of the weekend with no goals in it. Just sod's law. I'll take you through it though, because there was plenty of chances, and it very much sounded like Berwick continued their recent resurgence and decent form. So started off early doors, Berwick on the attack. Daniel had a shot flying over the bar early doors. On the other side of the pitch, Colts were still giving as good as they were getting, obviously needing a bounce back. Moore having an effort for the edge of the box that Brennan was able to gather low. But it seemed to be mainly Berwick getting the chances. Some good football between the likes of Purvis and Barr, 1-2s, shots for the edge of the box, quite a lot of deflections, for what I could tell for the match report. Wright had a shot for the edge of the box, saved and held by the keeper, and Callum Smith seemed to have a couple of attempts as well. Half time though, 0-0. It was just more of the same in the second half, especially as the wind bit. And if anyone knows what Broadwood's like, it's cold enough as it is. So imagine trying to play a game of football in that weather in Broadwood. It's just, they're surprised nobody got frostbite, to be honest. Callum Smith again seemed to be involved in everything though, everything good for Berwick. It just seemed a story for pretty much every chance. The keeper was either getting through to cut off the final ball, or efforts were getting deflected behind, and it just, nothing really clear came through. There was a big claim for a handball for a penalty though, as Wright had a shot blocked from the edge of the box. But other than that, Callum Smith had a volley parried away towards the death, and there were claims at the other end for a penalty after a Forster challenge that the ref waved away. It rounded off with one final, probably the only clear-cut chance of the whole match. Ball fell to Lumsden, and he couldn't get his shot away immediately. It eventually was closed down and the shot was blocked. So, kind of summed up the fixture in many ways. 0-0 full time. It's not a result that either team will be particularly chuffed with, I don't think. Because both of them would have seen that as a very winnable game. But with the conditions, with the circumstances, with both teams having had pretty kind of sizable defeats in the last couple of weeks on the record, they might not be too disappointed to keep a clean sheet and get a decent positive result ultimately, given all the conditions and everything else going on as well.
Berwick have been a team that have they've been quite solid at the back this season. It's been at the other end, they've not been able to put those goals away to essentially give them the 3 points that they need. I haven't had a look, but I'm sure they've got a few draws under their belts, purely for being solid at the back but not being able to finish and get the goals on in the back of the net for them essentially. So I think they might be a bit disappointed as well. For Cumbernauld, you can never guess what's going to happen with Cumbernauld Colts, to be honest. I think they scored 7 goals not long ago, conceded 7, and a couple of weeks later, and then they're part of a 0-0 stalemate at home. You can't predict. That's like if you're going to put a bet on, that's like a team that you avoid if you're making an accumulator in the Lowland League, because you've got no idea how that one's going to go. But I think you're probably quite right that they'll be happy that they have kept a clean sheet this time round. Something to build on after that. Conceding 7 prior to this game. They've got something there to build on, and hopefully they can move forward and maybe put a wee bit of a run together. Because that would be, obviously a 7-0 defeat's always going to get people's heads down. So it's probably kind of a result certainly that a result that they're going to feel better than they did the week before, I suppose. And yeah, Berwick just need to figure out how to score a few more goals, I suppose, because yeah, they're not conceding millions of goals. They're just not scoring enough, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw them just a couple of weeks ago when they played BSC, that's a defeat for Berwick I was referring to, because they looked alright, but their goals for a set piece, and they didn't really have a clear-cut chance as much as they played some decent, neat football at times. They seem the kind of team that they just need one piece thrown in. And I suspect Colts are the same just now. They just need someone in there that'll unlock defences. And play that kind of the final ball. Obviously, it's not easy to find these guys. There's a reason. There's not many about. But just that kind of creative outlet, I think both teams are needing. And the weird thing is, despite that big loss that Colts had, and despite the loss Berwick had at BSC, overall they have improved in form recently if you kind of disregard those one-off games. So it was a strange one that I don't think we were able to predict before it, and well, there you go. It's ended up in a stalemate, so maybe that's why we couldn't predict what was going to happen ultimately. But both teams will be pretty comfortable with mid-table finishes. They're not going to get involved in the top end. They're not going to get involved in the bottom end, and they can look ahead to next season and who they want to keep on and go from there. Essentially, that leads us on to fixtures if they survive the weather. That is, because in the words of BSC's Twitter account, Poseidon is a dauber. So, but yeah, that rolls us through to the weekend. So back to Lowland business. I'll run through the fixtures just now, and again we can give a wee bit of input on it. So start off with Berwick at home to Edinburgh Uni. That's a game that Uni really need to look at getting something from, you'd think, but it's a chance for Berwick to get 3 points on the board after maybe not getting the reward for some improved play recently.
Do you know what? I think if Berwick score a goal, it'll be enough to win the game, because like I sort of touched upon before, I think Berwick are a relatively solid side at the back, and Edinburgh Uni are a side that struggle to score goals. I think that's been easily their hands down their biggest problem, is being able to find goals this season, because they've played really well in a few of their games, but they're going up against Berwick, a side that don't concede a lot of goals. I think that's going to be the difference. It'll probably be a good game. It'll probably look relatively close. I think both sides will see a lot of the action. I don't think it's going to be one-sided by any stretch, but I'm not sure Edinburgh Uni are going to be able to get the goal or two. They'll need to take a point or three away from this one.
Yeah, I'd go with that as well. Cumbernauld Colts at home to University of Stirling. God knows. As you alluded to earlier on, with the Colts, you never know which side's going to turn up. With University of Stirling, the style they're going to play, what you're getting to a point. Sometimes they're brilliant and clinical at taking chances. Other times they let a few kind of swing by. I don't really have a preference either way, so I think I'll sit on the fence. What do you reckon here?
The safest thing to do is to go a draw as well. In the reverse fixture, it was a 4-4, bit of a score fest, so it'd be great to see something like that. Both sides could do with getting a few goals in this one. It's definitely better than a 0-0 draw any day of the week. But still, it was a draw. I think there's two teams that are fairly evenly matched. I think Stirling are more consistent, but Colts win a lot of games that they shouldn't, and they perhaps lose a lot of games that they should win as well. But I think they're a bit on level par. I think it'll be a draw.
Interesting one after that. The Scottish Cup rematch, East Kilbride at home to BSC Glasgow. I quite fancy BSC in this one, purely just because the way that first game went, and I suspect that there'll be a very similar game plan employed. Interestingly enough, East Kilbride have only just started offering out the manager's job as well to application, I've noticed. And they have encouraged the temporary team in charge just now to apply for it as well, but it's just a really strange situation at East Kilbride just now. I'm not really sure if they really know where they're going or what they want. So it's not quite a club in disarray. It's still a pretty solid football side, but it just doesn't seem 100% settled, which kind of makes me feel a bit more confident about the game itself.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think East Kilbride, their identity has been League Two sort of on that journey to League Two. That's kind of been their identity for a few years, and it's kind of died a death at when they suffered those defeats at the hands of Cove Rangers last season. And Cove were an incredible side. You can see that in what they're doing in League Two this season. So it's no dig at East Kilbride that they lost those games, but that's kind of fell away a little bit, and I think they do need to try and find their identity a little bit. It seems like a fixture that's on more than Coronation Street and EastEnders. East Kilbride against BSC, it's on constantly, and I think East Kilbride are capable of being a little bit of a bogey team for BSC. But yeah, I think when you look at how both these sides are at this point in the season, BSC, they know, I suppose they do know their identity, and they're a very confident side after I think they were in some sort of cup run or something I read somewhere.
So somebody told me.
So yeah, they're quite confident just now. East Kilbride you're right, they're finding their identity a little bit. I think BSC should win it quite comfortably.
BSC win with a Ross Smith hat-trick. There you go. Next up, Caledonian Braves at home to Bonnyrigg Rose. It's an interesting one on paper, that. Cali Braves are more than capable. We mentioned earlier that Gala haven't really got a statement win. Cali Braves have had a couple of really good performances against the so-called bigger sides in this league, so it's a really interesting one. You do fancy Rose to go and win it, but you wouldn't be that surprised if they didn't.
No, I think it's no surprise at all that Cali Braves are on the same points as Colts at this point in the season, because they're very similar in that they can be a bogey team for pretty much anybody. But then there's sometimes you look at a result that involves Cali Braves and you can't believe that they've lost the game, or they've conceded as many goals as they have. Rose are the strong side. It's a massive game for them. I'm losing my voice here. Must be that cold I got from Mainsley Park. Rose are, they're the team. It's a hugely important game for those guys, because it's one of those games in hand that's going to close the gap. And teams get beat on the pitch, but they also get beat sometimes by pressure, and Rose have got an opportunity to put a bit of pressure on Kelty here. Cali Braves they're not going to be a walking they're not going to be a team that Rose walk over by any stretch, and if Rose aren't careful, they could drop a vital 2 or 3 points. But yeah, I'd give the edge. I think I'd give the edge to Rose quite comfortably again.
Yeah, absolutely. But so just anything else? I guess at this point you might have noticed by the time you listen to this that we have basically rebranded everything, new logos and so on as well. That kind of ties into the Soccer Shop Direct coming on board as our sponsor. So just to give them the shout out, if you want to go and get yourself team wear, equipment, training wear, anything to do with the sport we love, the soccershopdirect.co.uk is a website, or we'll tag them into tweets every so often as well, at the Soccer Shop D, just the letter D on the end. So thank you very much to those guys for getting on board and supporting us. Kinda off the back of that, we did have, you mentioned earlier on, Sean, the Easter Scotland catch-up that we did. Yourself and Kev did that one. It's something potentially to listen out for. We're going to start doing a few little a few different podcasts on top of our Lowland output. It's not going to affect the Lowland catch-up. It's still going to be here and as regular as ever, but it's about time we put the spotlight elsewhere in non-league as well, wouldn't you agree? So
yeah, I think this sponsorship, getting the Soccer Shop Direct on board is definitely giving us a little bit of a boost to be able to sort of take that next step. It's been really good being able to catch up. Chris, you, myself, Kev have all been able to do these sort of catch ups around the Lowland League, sometimes touching on West of Scotland or East of Scotland. We might as well just start calling it West of Scotland from now, but we've been able to touch on all that kind of stuff, whereas now, this is kind of giving us a wee bit of a platform to take the next step, which is really good, and tying in the rebranding, catch up a little bit to incorporate that is going to help as well. I suppose a biggie is for the people who want to get involved, it's good to hear them reaching out as well, for those people who do have an interest in being actively involved in any leagues, because at the end of the day, that's all Chris, yourself and I have kind of done. We're just fans of the league at the end of the day. And we obviously get David Chandler, who's always helping out, Mark McCabe getting the interviews at Kelty. It's really good to get involvement from outside, so we are going to look to expand, but it's with the more workload, I suppose we're going to need a few more hands, so it's going to be interesting to see how it evolves. But the Soccer Shop Direct, it's given us a massive boost to be able to do that, which is fantastic.
So as Sean says, please do get in touch if you've got any interest in getting involved, especially on the east of Scotland, the west of Scotland, all that side of things. As we are not an official Lowland League mouthpiece, as somebody did ask if we were or not a couple of weeks back, we're pretty confident in saying there will be a West of Scotland League coming, so we'll follow up on that in due course. We are going to have a full pyramid podcast or two coming up, so look out for them as well, but it's always going to be the same feed, so you only need to subscribe to Official Catchup on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you do your podcasting. You'll always see all of our podcasts through that one feed, so that you don't need to go different places for it. Kept it nice and simple. Just have a look at the picture that's attached to whatever podcast comes out, and that'll tell you what it's about. Nice and easy is that. But thank you very much for listening, folks. Please do send us in any questions, any feedback, any ideas, or if you don't want to get involved as well. We'll be more than happy to hear from you and go from there. I've been Moza, or Derek. We're going Derek. And you can find me on Twitter at MozaPlays. Everyone else through that. The catch-up itself is at Official Catchup on Twitter. And I believe it's under Lowland League Catch-up on Facebook, Sean?
Yeah, that's correct. And for myself, I don't have any catchy Rampant or Moza nicknames in there, but you can find me at Sped and Sean on Twitter. And obviously we've got Chris, you can find him at Rampant FM on Twitter as well, so feel free to give us a follow.
So all that's left to say is thank you very much for listening, folks. Mon The BSC, and we'll catch you next time.